video is for you if, well, I guess you could read it. If you've experienced something in the past that continues to pop up and you have this emotional trigger that is kind of disrupting your life and preventing you from getting to where you want to go as far as your life goals or even daily life. And I called it a childhood trauma release, but it doesn't have to just be childhood trauma. It could be a recent trauma or something that had a significant emotional event very recently that continues to pop up and bring up and flare these emotions up into you. And it's sort of disrupting your daily life. And the reason that I bring any of this up is because I have this video series that's bringing us to acquiring huge goals. And this could be small goals too. This could be literally anything. It could be you're sitting at your desk and you're trying to work and this emotion flares up, or you're talking to someone and they say something and it triggers you and it makes you super angry, and then you're spending like 3 or 4 hours just resolving this emotion and just getting super upset. And what this all comes from is this emotional trigger release defines our life. We live on these emotional triggers and our emotions cause our actions. So throughout our day, we're unconsciously getting triggered by something that causes an emotion, and then it habitually has us do another action. And so we live inside this loop and get the same results out of life over and over and over again. And unless we release these emotional triggers, then we're going to be living inside of this emotional hamster wheel for the rest of our lives. So today you might see me cry because I'm going to be doing this emotional release with you. First I'll explain it and we'll break it down. The first thing to do is to detect the emotional trigger. At any point throughout the day, if you feel as if something is causing you some super heavy emotion, for me, I had gone to this event called the Millionaire Mind Intensive, and this is the first time I ever heard about this emotional release. I was with my spouse at the time, and I was running away from the emotions of my father, and the person that I decided to forgive was my father, because there was a time when I was very, very young when I asked him how was he feeling. By the way, I love my father, and he's helped me in numerous ways, so don't leave any negative comments, but I was really, really young, and I was asking him, "Hey Dad, how do you feel today?" He's like, "Why do you care?" And then I think from there, I was really, really young, and so I made this belief that maybe men were bad or my father was a terrible person, regardless of what he's actually done in my life. And I had been running away from his love over and over and over again. And I'd been trying to be this independent person that was self-sabotaging himself up until the point where I would just reject my parents no matter how much they wanted to help me, or my father how much he wanted to help me. And I kept saying this cycle over and over and over again and getting super triggered by my father no matter what. And so the first person that I decided I have to forgive so I can get rid of this emotion so that I can now have this amazing relationship with my father that I do now was to release that emotional trigger. The first thing is to detect it. So for me, it would be something like, maybe it could be a male figure talking to me or trying to give me advice or trying to tell me what to do. And I would feel this negative emotion, and that emotion would come from my forehead. I could feel it inside my body. For you, this negative emotion could be anywhere inside of your body. And so the first thing is to notice the emotion, because once you're aware of it, then you transcend that emotion and you're not it anymore and you're not caught up in it. So the first thing is to detect the emotion. So you could see it. For me, it was in my head. The second thing is to memorize the first time you felt that way. So I mentioned to you that I was about 3 or 4 years old when I asked my dad this. When you close your eyes and you feel that location inside of your body, you'll start seeing a memory pop up, and you can dive into that memory and see what happened and who caused this first time that you created this belief in life. Because these significant emotional events from age 0 to 7 cause beliefs, and it defines your reality and the way you see the world and what you get back from the world from this belief. And the final thing is to visualize the event and visualize the person after that event and talk to them and forgive them for them hurting you. The one thing with this is we have to relieve the idea of being a victim. We're not a victim anymore. That person, my dad was doing the best that he possibly could. He was a police officer. He was taking care of a family. He has 20 years of, way more than that, of consecutively keeping a nice home, food on the table, and all these things. And he was doing the best that he possibly could with the conscious awareness that he had at the time. So he was doing the best that he could. And that outlash was him trying to teach me and show me that I need to start figuring things out on my own. And someone else's emotions don't dictate mine. So you have to sit down with this person in your imagination and forgive that person, hug them. And then the last thing you need to do is, in that scene where your child is hurt, the younger version of you is hurt, you're going to walk in as the version of you that you are now, and then console your younger self, and then tell them that it's okay, and that you made it alright. And then give them something they would have needed to hear at that moment that would make them feel better, something you wish you could have heard at that time. And so, with that being said, I'm going to do the exercise with you right now, and you might see me cry. So, the first step is to detect the emotional trigger. So now I want you to think back to a time where your emotions are flaring up and there was an emotional time where you're just so frustrated and you didn't understand why. Just take a moment, bring up that emotion, imagine that time. It could have been recently. And find in your body where that emotion lies. For me, it's again my forehead. Just detect the emotion. Maybe you can see the scene playing right now. Who's there? What do you smell? What's the temperature? How do you feel? Visualize the moment that you're in. The first time you felt this way. Memorize the first time you ever felt this emotion. You see two separate events. One of the recent and one the first time you ever felt this emotion. And you can see yourself in the person that hurt you. Just watch the event from a third person point of view. What happened? As the person that hurts you walks away, go to your younger self. Tell them it's going to be okay. Tell them something you wish you could have heard in the moment. Tell your younger self that it's all going to be okay. Give your younger self a hug. Let your younger self go. Now visualize the person that hurt you sitting in front of you. Say hi. You forgive them. Talk to them. I'll give you a moment. Give you a moment. Let them know they were doing the best they could with the resources they had. Give them a hug and let them know you forgive them. you left them. Wish them the best. Let them know. Take a moment. Bring your younger self back. Look at them. Watch your younger self smile. Your younger self is laughing, joking, having a great time. Give your younger self a hug again. Let them know it's all gonna be okay. Give them a little high five. Hug, kiss, whatever it is. On your own time. Go ahead, open your eyes. Oh. How was that? Yeah, okay, so you just let me cry. That's awesome. Hopefully maybe you got something out of that and you cried too. The biggest thing with this is knowing that this emotional trigger, it'll come up again, but now you just be more aware of where it came from and what it is. And the key to this is just knowing that it's not going to go away immediately, but it goes away gradually over the course of the next couple of days. And good job on doing the inner work. You did amazing. You did fucking fantastic. I'm so proud of you. Go ahead, subscribe, and let me know in the comments how your inner work went. And from my heart to yours, I'm so grateful that you're watching this far. I love you. Cheers.